Hay una ciudad que, aunque no tan grande,
It's always included in all the classic itineraries of Italy, and besides, its tower is recognized by everyone as the country's iconic image. Fellow travelers, welcome to Pisa. Pisa, a city known worldwide for its leaning tower. But did you know it has much more to offer? Today, we'll show you some of the most fascinating parts of this historic Tuscan city. We will visit the Piazza dei Miracoli and discover parts of Pisa few people experience. You can come from Rome, Milan, or Florence, and in fact, most people come just for the day. But we chose to stay for one night, so we could enjoy this city when the crowds of tourists have already left. At the end of the video, we'll show our accommodation, how to reach the city, and our dinner. Where should we start? We'll start at the Piazza dei Miracoli, the place where all tourists go to visit the famous Leaning Tower. How can you visit the tower and cathedral? The Piazza dei Miracoli, also known as the Cathedral Square, is one of the most iconic architectural complexes in Italy and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This square is home to some of the most visited monuments in the world, and the beauty of its medieval architecture is simply breathtaking. First, you can't miss visiting the Tower of Pisa, famous for its tilt. This bell tower, built between the 12th and 14th centuries, is one of the most iconic symbols of Italy. Besides admiring it from the outside, we recommend climbing the tower to get an amazing panoramic view of the city and the square. There are 251 steps to the top. They're made of marble, they're worn, so make sure to wear shoes with good grip. From the top, you get a beautiful view of the entire architectural complex of Piazza dei Miracoli. The price to go up is €20, but there are combined tickets available, and we'll look at that now. For safety reasons, children under 8 years old are not allowed to go up. Right next to it is the Cathedral of Santa Maria Assunta, a prominent example of Pisan Romanesque art. Its interior is equally impressive, with golden mosaics and a great number of artistic details that will transport you to Pisa's medieval past. It's really worth going inside. It's beautiful. Admission is free, but if you haven't gotten a ticket for another monument, like the tower or the Baptistery, you'll need to get a free ticket at the ticket office. Tickets are limited. Since it's a religious site, remember to bring something to cover your shoulders and legs. front of the cathedral, you'll see the Baptistery of St. John, a circular building that stands out for its size and exceptional acoustics. The entrance fee is €8, but later on, we'll look at the pass to visit all the monuments. Also in the Piazza, you can enjoy the Camposanto Monumentale, an ancient monumental cemetery surrounded by walls. Here, in addition to learning about the history of Pisa through its tombs, you can see medieval and Renaissance frescoes that adorn its walls. The entrance fee is €8. And finally, I should also mention that they have the Opera del Duomo Museum, a museum where you can go and see in detail much of the history of the cathedral and the Tower of Pisa. How do you get tickets to climb the Tower of Pisa? We'll start by saying that entry to the cathedral is free, but you do need an admission ticket. You have two options. If you're going to climb the Leaning Tower or visit any of the other monuments by paying for access to these online, you also get a ticket for the cathedral. If, on the other hand, you're only going to visit the cathedral, you'll need to get the free ticket at the ticket office, not online. You can get the full ticket on the official website, which I'll leave below, and it allows you to climb the tower, enter the cathedral, the Baptistery, the cemetery, and the Opera del Duomo Museum. The cost on the official website is €27. If you get this same pass on reservation websites, the cost is €37, but it's an option if they're sold out on the official website. I'll leave both options in the video. If you just want to go up the tower and also get entry to the cathedral, the cost is €20. When you get the ticket, you have to select the time for going up the tower. You can visit the rest of the monuments in the square without reserving a time slot. For going up the tower, you have to keep in mind that you can't bring any kind of bag or backpack. So before getting in line at the reserved time you already have, go to the bag check and leave it there. This is included in your ticket. Besides the monuments, the Piazza dei Miracoli is a perfect place to enjoy a unique atmosphere. You can take some time to relax in the gardens, admire the view, or simply get lost in the nearby streets, where you'll find little souvenir shops and charming cafes. It's the ideal place for an unforgettable experience among history, art, and the tower's famous tilt. Don't forget that in the square there are other monuments and architectural details that often go unnoticed, like the sculptures and columns that decorate every corner, making each step a little surprise. And it's the moment when, if you step back a little, you'll see 1,000 poses of people trying to immortalize the moment by holding up the tower, and you hear the instructions from the tourist-turned-model to their improvised photographer. A little further, a little closer, more to the right, more to the left. If you're enjoying the video, but most importantly, if it's helping you, don't forget to subscribe and give it a like. But I've told you several times that once you're in Pisa, you shouldn't just go to Piazza del Miracoli, but also explore the city a little. We chose to stay and found accommodation very close to Piazza del Miracoli. At the end, we'll give you the details. That's how we continue our tour in the heart of the old town of Pisa. If you move away from the Piazza dei Miracoli, you'll find yourself in a maze of narrow streets full of history and charm. Pisa isn't just about its famous tower, but also from its vibrant streets full of life, with cafes where you can enjoy a good espresso or local shops offering typical handmade products. Our steps lead us to the nearby Piazza dei Cavalieri, a beautiful square with the Palazzo dell'Orologio, the Palazzo della Carovana, and the Church of Santo Stefano. In Pisa, you'll also find the Science Museum, a perfect place for the curious. Here, ancient scientific instruments are exhibited, and topics related to astronomy and physics are explored, in honor of Galileo Galilei, who was born in Pisa. Pisa is also a university city. Its ancient university is one of the most prestigious in Italy. It is also a city on the Arno River, and one of the best things to do is walk across its bridges to admire the views. One of the most picturesque is the Ponte di Mezzo, which crosses the river in the center of the city, connecting the two sides of Pisa. From here, you can see beautiful reflections of the historic buildings in the water, a perfect view for photos. If you are an art lover, you can't miss the National Museum of San Matteo. This museum houses an impressive collection of medieval and Renaissance art. The museum's architecture is fascinating, housed in an old convent, letting you experience Pisa's history from a new angle. Practical information for your visit. As I mentioned before, we stayed in Pisa for one night. The accommodation was basic, but very close to the Piazza dei Miracoli, an old house with parking inside the property and a simple breakfast. We paid €150 in September. As you can see, in Italy, we use a lot of unconventional accommodations, B&Bs, in old buildings or houses. This type is more commonly found in old town areas, and usually these are the places where we choose to stay. But they have other types of hotels at different distances and prices, so I'll leave you a link so you can search throughout the whole city. Visiting Pisa from Florence is perhaps the most common option. It's only about 90 kilometers away, and you can get there by train. In about an hour, you'll make the trip from Santa Maria Novella Station to Pisa Centrale for around €11 each way. If you want to travel more comfortably and without worries, there are also organized tours with a Spanish-speaking guide and the tower climb included for about €90. Also, without the tower climb, from €40. We're considering the tour from Florence, but you can also start from Rome or Milagro. As you know, we went by car. I'll leave you a link to the place where we rented. Parking, as I mentioned, was on site at our accommodation. The dinner was very good and the service was excellent. I'm leaving the name of the restaurant and the receipt below. If you're thinking about having unlimited internet for your trip,
Te dejo un código descuento en la descripción para las eSIM que usamos nosotros.
we always travel with travel insurance, and I recommend you do the same. I'm listing 2 options in the description for you to review. For a day or for one night, Pisa is worth adding to your itinerary. We mentioned Florence. What is there to see in this city?